The Seirete, a Bleach fandom community podcast brought to you by holding on to your husband's favorite item of clothing while he goes on a date with another man whose child you are also babysitting. But I mean, genuinely, in all seriousness, I do love a supportive, open relationship. Like, that's great. I'm here for that. Hey, folks. I mean, I had to. He's in this episode. One time, I had to. Hi, hello. I am your resident Ukitake stan to end all Ukitake stans. Not actually. I don't want to end any of you if you're listening. I'd rather give you a hug, metaphorically or otherwise. Anyway, my name is Del. Hello. And today I am joined by Nomi.
Hello.
Hi. And we are gonna continue talking about some people fighting each other today because that's the part of Bleach we are in.
We are. It's fights galore. It's a fight palooza.
It is a fight palooza, complete with flags and entertainment. Glorious entertainment.
It even has a flagship.
Ooh, yeah, whoa. That was like a triple entendre. Very here for that. And not just because there are three of them. Stop that. I don't know. I really like this part of Bleach, and I just want to keep going every time we end a series of episodes that we're meant to be watching for the podcast, because we are always stopping and starting in medias res now. Always. We haven't, even I feel like if an Iran car, even when Ulquiorra went away, I still didn't feel like we were done. We're still, there's so much momentum right now.
There really is, yeah. And even though it seems like we're finishing up battles, we've got people trapped in ice, we've got big sonic booms, it seems like it's the end, but there's just so much more to come, and the momentum is still quite up there. Despite one of the episodes literally saying climax, so see how that pans out.
Right, exactly. Which, as if you've been watching along with us, you will have seen the end of that episode, and everybody involved in that fight is still very much alive right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
it's very interesting why they called it that. No one knows.
It means an escalation of events. It could mean, and I don't know, the stakes were upped. We saw, oh my god, do you think it's because we saw releases? I hate this. I hate it here. I love it here. Welcome to the gutter. Welcome to the Seirete, where we live in the gutter perpetually.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure that can't be what. Was that somebody, it's like some westernization team making the worst, most cursed joke ever? Not that it's cursed, I've written fanfic like that, but still.
Oh my gosh. No. Yes. I hope they did, because it's too good otherwise.
I sort of hope they did too. That's what I'm choosing to believe henceforth. Jesus. Well.
What an opening.
What an opening. Hey, Frank, I feel like it was bound to come up. I don't know. No pun intended. Stop it. We should probably just move forward with those episode summaries before we started in the gutter. We don't have to stay there the whole entire time. I think we may end up back here, but I also don't want to make assumptions. Maybe this will carry on to be a very, very wholesome hour or so.
We'll try.
Yeah.
No promises.
Will we?
Yeah.
We're not gonna try. Are you kidding? Well, I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. I'm open to all possibilities. I'll try anything once. Let's go. Let's just go.
Alrighty then. So we're starting off strong with episode 275, The Approaching Breath of Death, the king who rules over death. You mean this show is about death and grim weepers who weep souls for a living? Who would have thunk? Anyway, we start off being reminded that there are other people fighting, and Starrk takes a low blow by taking a metaphorical punch at Kyōraku's outfit. Excuse you, mister, dressed in white, how dare you insult his kimono? I insult nothing about you because you're pretty cool, especially when you show off and shoot a strong Sero without even gesturing or making a hand movement to show that you are about to shoot one. So cool. Anyway, as they fight, argue, flirt, the sky turns dark as we catch up to Hitsugai's fight with Halibal. The sky turning dark is actually his Bankai attack, Tensho Jurin, throwing all of his fears to the wind, or icy weather. He unleashes his basic but powerful attack by firing Hyoten Hyakuso up into the clouds, causing it to snow. The snow forms ice flowers to bloom on Halibal, encasing her in a frozen obelisk. Meanwhile, we move over to Soi Fon and Barragan, who, when fighting, the former realizes that as she's getting close to landing a hit on the older Espada, her attacks seem to slow down. For someone who prides herself on her lightning-fast reflexes, this is a big thing to notice. Unable to figure out how he's managing it, Barragan puts her out of her misery and finally reveals his aspect of death. For his is death of aging over time, and he demonstrates this by touching Soi Fon on the shoulder and causing all the bones in her arm to break due to age. In a show of teamwork, 𝘙𝘦𝘢 and Soi Fon attempt a diversion technique in order to attack Barragan after realizing they can't get close. Only Barragan sees through it and instead resurrects and releases his ultimate move, a move that with just a breath can decay anything it touches, including Soi Fon's broken arm. Before it can spread and decay all over her, however, Soi Fon commands that 𝘙𝘦𝘢 cut off her arm, stopping the decay and saving her life.
And that brings us to episode 276, One Hit Kill, Soi Fon Bankai. So the fight against second Espada Barragan continues. Soi Fon and 𝘙𝘦𝘢 are down, which in Soi Fon's case means down an arm, but not out. Not entirely, not yet. Barragan's Respira continues to rot away everything that comes into contact with it, which frustrates and, frankly, terrifies 𝘙𝘦𝘢. In reply, Soi Fon tells 𝘙𝘦𝘢 that she has to go somewhere and instructs him to face off against Barragan alone for a bit. Yeah, for once, I'm, kind of on the same page as 𝘙𝘦𝘢 because that is a pretty confusing order to give, Soi Fon. But we're not given time to ponder that too deeply, because we return once again to the ongoing exchange of dulcet words and evasive blows that is the conflict between Kyōraku and Starrk, who are both doing their best to goad each other into showing off their respective release forms. Meanwhile, Lonlieness has lost her sword to the world's most patient defender, Ukitake, who genuinely looks like he could counter Lonlieness's shenanigans all day long. In the meantime, Kyōraku makes a few observations. He senses something different about the relationship between Starrk and Lonlieness, as compared to the relationships between other Espada and their fracciones. Starrk finally takes the bait. He appears underneath Kyōraku and prepares to unleash an abrupt and massive Sero. Not gonna dwell on that either, though, because we're back with 𝘙𝘦𝘢 and Barragan. 𝘙𝘦𝘢 releases his Gegetsuburi and begins smashing buildings right and left in an attempt to attack Barragan with fragments of rubble so that his Shikai won't decay. Even 𝘙𝘦𝘢 can recognize that he's buying time against Barragan, though, for what, he's not sure. 𝘙𝘦𝘢 gets so desperate that he resorts to poorly executed Kido, and just when it seems like 𝘙𝘦𝘢 is totally shit out of luck, who should return but Soi Fon, carrying what looks like a giant, shiny, golden missile launcher. This is her Bankai, Jakuho Raikoben. She fires off a massive attack, and it hits Barragan dead on, so to speak, and causes a massive explosion.
And finally, in episode 277, Climax, Kyōraku versus Starrk, in which I'm not going to make a joke because we've exhausted all the jokes. Kind of. We see neither in the opening, for it focuses on the ending of Barragan and the Soi Fon fight, with her shooting her Bankai towards the Espada, the force of which sends 𝘙𝘦𝘢 blasting off again. Fortunately, Soi Fon took precautions and is being held in place by the steel sash called ginjohan, at least until it breaks and she too goes flying into a wall, caught by none other than 𝘙𝘦𝘢. As they look towards the blast zone, it seems that their fight is over. Heading back to Starrk and Kyōraku, we have Starrk surveying the damage of both the Bankais we've witnessed, 𝘙𝘦𝘢𝘭 and Soi Fon, and he asks Kyōraku's whose is stronger, his own or Toshiro's. So does that mean that Soi Fon's isn't worth comparing? Rude.
Oh!
Kyōraku responds with the fact that 𝘙𝘦𝘢𝘭 is a prodigy, and give him 100 years and he will surpass Kyōraku himself. Starrk responds by saying that Kyōraku is stronger then, to which Kyōraku just smirks, sheds his Hiyori, throwing it to Ukitake, for it seems like shit is finally gonna go down with these two too.
I fully can't. I love it.
Starrk sheaths his sword, however. Confused? Don't worry, it'll all be over soon. This is a climax, remember? And he calls for Lonlieness. Kyōraku asks why he's involving the child, and so Starrk simply explains that he and Lonlieness are one being. A normal Bankai, due to evolution process, splits their power into sword and body, the sword becoming their Zanpakuto. Starrk and Lonlieness are different, for his power is split into two beings, him and Lonlieness. Placing a hand on Lonlieness' head, Starrk finally releases his resurrection and reveals some pistols. Without missing a beat, Kyōraku also releases his Shikai, and the two began fighting in earnest. It is worth noting, however, that the real star of this show is Kyōraku's hat, because honestly, it's a paid actor at this point after the great show of distraction, allowing Kyōraku to get the first attack in. Anyway, they seem pretty matched at this point, with Kyōraku even complimenting Starrk on his release, saying that it is not for show. But at the moment, all Starrk has shot out of his pistols is Sero's, and when pressed to show something else, still continues to shoot out Sero's. However, the climax looks finally set to reveal its head when Starrk uses his pistols to fire Sera Metralleta, which causes Kyōraku to flee. He is saved, however, by none other than Ukitake, who uses his own Shikai to reflect Starrk's attack back at him.
Yeah! Hooray!
Yay! Bankai!
Shikai, that's just Shikai.
True, but we saw other Bankais.
Oh yeah, we saw other Bankai. Sorry, are you surprised by my one-track mind at this moment? Of course, of course. God.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like, genuinely action-packed. That's very much the part of Bleach that we're in. It's fight hours. It's good fight hours. I was thoroughly entertained this whole entire time.
Yeah, so was I. And it's not like we're seeing, other than Omeda, everything is pretty serious and bang on, and you can feel for these characters and you're actually seeing things. Like for Soi Fon, we're seeing her Bankai and how unlike Soi Fon it is.
Oh my, well, how unlike what she presents it is.
Yeah, true.
You're never gonna have a Bankai that is wrong for you, you know? That doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you've got our two favourite boys, three favourite boys, Starrk, Kyōraku, and Ukitake.
There's so many favourites in this whole entire series, really, but in this case, yes, I know what you mean.
And then you've got the ending of the other one.
Yeah, which neither he nor Ukitake used a release command this time, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah, it was just like blasé. Next thing you know, oh look, there he is with his dual Shikai, and you're like,
truly casual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's just, you know, it's no show. Shit's going down now. Thrown in the gauntlet.
Yeah. And they also have such long released commands, both of them, so...
they do.
I mean, I'm not surprised that over literally hundreds and hundreds of years they've developed a shortcut to just, now we're here. Or maybe Ukitake did his whole thing off screen and we didn't see it, which honestly would be the most on-brand thing for Kubo ever, but we're here. Kyōraku, not so much, though.
Yeah, they know as soon as they start whittling in their long intro, Lonlieness just going to make fun of them, so they did it to save their ego.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know how harsh a burn she could deliver at this point, though. She barely has a leg to stand on that way. Poor Lonlieness, honestly.
Aww.
She keeps trying, though, bless her. Well...
Yeah, should we just...
Yeah, but I was going to say, before we derail too much further, should we do anime and manga differences?
Yeah, let's. Okay, so starting off with episode 275, Manga Chapters we use, and this is following on from the trend that you and Lethan found that it does bounce around a lot.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
We've got chapter 359, The Frozen Obelisk, which is only the first 8 pages. Then we go back to chapter 356, Tyrant of Skulls, and 357, the Colossus of Fear, which is minusing the last 6 pages.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, there's not a lot of chapters, but because in the manga, all of the Soi Fon stuff were happening at the same time as the Hitsugaya stuff, which is actually, it's very interesting to note, because normally it's the anime who likes to cut between different fights, whereas this time it was the manga who was cutting between different fights. But yeah, and the anime kept all the fight together.
Okay.
For pacing.
Yeah, that's an interesting structural choice. I'm wondering whether it was of course, speculating why is almost useless, but I'm almost like, is it so that Kubo could show the readers, here are the fights between second Espada and third Espada, and we're going to take care of those, and then we can zoom in on the fight with the first Espada all on its own. I don't know. Maybe because going just like 3, 2, 1 in order would be too streamlined, actually, not as exciting. Yeah,
for sure, because you expect 3, 2, 1, you expect third to be the weakest,
3,
second
2,
and all of
1,
that.
Let's jam.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that actually would be exactly in line, because we just saw the downfall of 4. So if you just go straight up 4, 3, 2, 1, that actually is less exciting, I think. I think that's more predictable and less exciting.
Exactly. And this way it's kind of breaking it up, and we're seeing that we're wondering, dynamic-wise, are they actually as strong as each other? Is this a power scaling, or are people dependent on who they're fighting? So, like, if Toshiro was fighting Starrk, would that be any different?
I mean, yes. I think that would be different. Yeah, I think so. But of course, okay, but sure, but... so if that were the case, then Starrk would have had water powers or something. Like, Kubo puts people together who make sense together. And
Definitely.
I don't even care if people think it's cheap or lazy or boring or something. I love it. I think it's a dang good time.
Yeah. And it's all about power dynamics and putting them together and making sure that it is going to be an interesting fight, because they are so like-minded. They have to think outside of the box, and it gives them a chance to show different skills and new techniques, and gives Kubo a chance to create new techniques and everything. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then if you think about it from the opposite perspective, if you think about the characters that are involved in these fights, if you're Toshiro and of course, nobody knew, neither the Espada nor the Shinigami, what their opponents could do before they started fighting each other. But if Halibel starts fighting Soi Fon, say, and then she reveals that she has these awesome water powers, like, if you're Toshiro, aren't you gonna come over and be like, oh, I can manipulate water, I should do something about this? Like, surely they end up facing off against the opponent that makes the most sense, just by nature of the fact that they're all decent strategists.
Exactly. I mean, if Chad and Ishida can do it, then surely these captains of the Go-Day can do it too.
Yeah, good point. Oh, man.
Anyway, for manga actual differences, we've got, in the anime, you've got Starrk, who releases 2 Seros. You got the first Sero he actually gestures, and then the second one he does his no gesture Sero, but in the manga he only does the no gesture Sero, which makes it so much more of a bigger deal for Kyōraku, and it's like his gimmick.
Ooh, so he never saw it coming. Cool, very cool.
The anime has a flashback during the Hitsugaya and Halibel fight, in which the anime flashed back to the last episode. Reminding us of the people in the square in the shield, and he didn't want to blast them and everything. But basically the manga flashes back to Gin, back when he first explained this power, and then the anime goes one step forward and gives that flashback to Kira, as if, because Kira was there at the time and he's remembering what it was.
Gin's voice sort of... was there a thing of Gin's voice over that shot of Kira's face? That was a thing, right? I'm not completely...
I can't remember. I was only... The animation had changed slightly. I think they'd cleaned up the animation and they'd cropped it to fit the screen. Because, of course, back then, it was 4:3 or whatever the aspect ratio. It was a different aspect ratio to what we're using now.
Yeah.
So they actually cleaned it up instead of actually flashing back to a less than ideal clip. So that's why I was doing it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I also might be confusing this with one of the after credits scenes because I know.
There was.
I'm thinking of the Tea Party one.
The Tea Party.
It's very good. It's very good.
It was good. We had Anime had Halabel do that extra step and use a water attack against ice, and everyone knows that in Pokemon it's not very effective. But the manga just goes straight to her using her Havana, whatever it's called, technique, the heating up one, instead of going water first.
That just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anime
and then
people down. Not a massive
Omeda.
Omeda. Yeah.
Okay, so we had this whole thing with Omeda trying to fight back, and then Omeda remembering what had just happened to Soi Fon's arm, and then he goes cowardly running away from the attack. Yeah. That was all filler. In the manga, as soon as Barragan breaks Soi Fon's arm, he resurrects. So all of that anime stuff in between those two bits were.
Oh, gotcha. So it's not even so much like, let's give Omeda more credit. It's just that all of that happened way faster.
Exactly, yeah. There was some bits.
I guess it is also let's give Omeda more credit because he didn't fucking run away like a fool. But
yeah, I mean, the whole decoy thing we saw was filler only as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nicer. I think that's nicer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that for that episode.
Okay. All right. Oh boy.
So, I was very gutted last week when I was watching these episodes and I saw that the aspect of death was going to happen. And you guys said it in last week's episode.
Oh, yeah!
I'm with you. I love the aspects of death in the Espada.
I think it's great.
I think it's great. It gives them a little bit of extra as well. But what we didn't get the last episodes was Barragan's, and we're getting it this episode.
Correct. Before we go there, is there anything else that you want to say now that you're here? And I feel like it's still relevant. Is there anything additional that you want to interject about the aspects of death? Either like why you think it's cool or spicy takes or not so spicy takes or anything like that?
I have a question for you, but it comes up later when we get to it in our talk.
Ooh, okay, we'll table that then.
Yeah, no, I definitely was listening to it. And then I stopped and paused and wrote something on my notes. I was like, ooh, that's perfect, yes.
Okay, great. So I just want to say, if you think I'm going to remember what I said a week ago, you are in for a surprise. Maybe we'll just see.
Yeah, I mean, I did get lucky and I did get I was proof listening to it this morning. So it's literally been only a couple of hours for me.
Yeah, no, that's good. My brain is soup. Perpetually, but also right now. For the listeners, I've been in school for the past 9 months or whatever the academic year is, and I finished classes just a couple of weeks ago now. So the amount of not thinking that I have been actively doing is passively. I haven't been doing much with my brain on purpose. So yes, soup mode. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
So Barragan's aspect of death is death from aging, which is fascinating, and it just the whole of Barragan's resurrection as well. I find it's very anesthetically fitting. He's like this skull king, and he just is very Grim Reaper skull.
It's quite matter of fact, actually. I suppose quintessentially, skulls are scary, I guess. Skeletons are a super traditional, scary thing. Catacombs full of bones are scary, whatever. But there is something about how straightforward and practical he is about both his explanation and the way he wields his power, which I think actually is an excellent match for Soi Fon, because I would consider Soi Fon a fairly practical, straightforward person also, and a serious person. But there is something about how not flashy and not showy he is that it's like, yeah, I guess his Skeletor form is a little bit grandiose, but it's also just like, yeah, no, you're the Skull King. It makes sense to me that you look like that. Like, that doesn't seem extra. That seems like the right level of showing offness.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think of all of the others, they've all kind of at least kept their face in their resurrections. Whereas Barragan has...
Well, except for Aranyero, who never keeps his face.
Oh, yeah, true.
I hear you. Yeah.
Aranyero aside, they've all got some sort of resemblance to who they were before they resurrected.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Whereas at first glance, Barragan and Barragan Resurrected could be two completely different people. Like, you don't... Other than the bone aesthetic...
Yeah.
At first glance, face-wise, because he's not kept his face, all his skin's decayed.
Right. Which is also just true of what happens when you die, and eventually, if you rot away and only bones are left, like, that could be anybody on first glance.
Yeah.
Oof. So it's just, like, it's just real shit. It's just, it's fucking metal, and it's real shit. That's what that is. Yeah. I don't know. We don't really get to spend a lot of time with Barragan as a character before he goes into his resurrection, so we don't I mean, presumably he thinks of himself as some sort of royalty, given that he's all, you know, posing and imposing up there in the sky and just kind of watching over shit for a hot minute. But I sort of don't mind that in his case. Like, why would he bother? He's so inevitable. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And
I sort of don't feel that... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because mine takes us into a different train of thought.
Oh, yeah, just, I don't feel the need as a viewer or a reader to sympathize with the aspect of death that is, I would say, probably the most universal, because the idea is each of these things is what could potentially kill a person, right? But we are not all going to suffer from loneliness or madness or greed to the point where it could cause our death. But nobody is untouched by time. And so there's a level of like, oh fuck, like we all already know who this is and what this can do, because nobody's immune.
Yeah, exactly. This one's a lot more kind of relatable. Is that the right word here? Like, it's a case of...
Yeah, it's already relatable.
Yeah. For sure. So, now that we've had all of these resurrections, and we spoke a little bit earlier about power scaling, how, you know, Barragan is second, but his attack and the way it just kind of disintegrates Soi Fon's arm,
and God,
he's
so
got a
brutal.
massive kind of area of effect. Like, you can't even get close to him. You can't even touch him without being into his area of effect and being...
Yeah.
So, it makes me interested now to see how Starrk, as Espada number 1, and even Yami as Espada 0...
Good God.
With quotation marks.
No, I know. I just forgot about Yami for a bit.
Can beat Barragan.
You're right, though.
Like, because Barragan just seems... I don't know. Like, they really struggled, and, like, Soi Fon had to reveal her Bankai.
Yes. Well, if you think about it, though, presumably... I don't know, because... So his area of effect is pretty massive. Which, to counter that, I would also say, so Toshiro's, like, busting out all the stops. Oh, geez. What's it called? What's his big snowflake thingy thing called?
Wait, let me... I'll scroll down to my thingy.
I was going to say Hyoten Hyakuso, but that's not it, is it?
That's the one that he fires up.
That's
yeah.
Hyoten
Genso Jurin was the one that changes the weather, and then he fired...
Oh, shit. That
Hyoten
one. Yes.
Hyakuso, yeah. Because he used two moves.
10 is the sky word, I know that, but anyway.
Yeah.
That area of effect is also really big, which is part of the reason that he was like, oh boy, can't guarantee that I won't kill my allies by mistake because the radius of this thing is 10 miles or whatever. So he has a massive area of effect, but we know, per what Kyōraku says, that he is not the strongest Shinigami. Maybe he will be one day, but he's not right now. So area of effect doesn't necessarily translate to the most powerful. The other thought that I had about Barragan is, yes, if you come close to him, you are pretty fucked. And it just so happens that initially, Soi Fon and 𝘙𝘦𝘢𝘭 are more or less melee fighters. So Soi Fon had to do something that didn't require her to be up in melee in order to counter him successfully. So I wonder if something hits him, like, if he's a skeleton, he might be sort of fragile. So maybe he's hard to hit, but once you land a hit, it's devastating. That kind of thing. Starrk, has Starrk been hit by stuff yet? Not really. So we don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know the full extent of what he can do yet. Mm-hmm. He's just.
I also sort of wonder. Yeah. I feel like supposing Soi Fon had launched her giant missile against Starrk, I just kind of feel like Starrk would dodge it, you know? And I feel like that is within his capabilities. Barragan doesn't seem like an agile, nimble person who can dodge things well.
No, I feel like he uses that area of effect that slows down things to his own advantage to make him seem faster. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to make him harder to hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Plot twist, they're all the same power level and they're just numbered because Aizen's got OCD and wanted to bring it over from the Gotei 13.
I mean, frankly, I could see it. Because
they all bring something
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, they all bring something new to the table. Because they all sit around a table.
Oh, well, yes, yeah. No, they do. I guess the table was new. In the Gotei, they all just stand in line.
Oh, that's true.
The table was a nice little change. Thinking outside the box.
Aizen lets them sit down.
Yeah,
they can have a seat.
Sit down.
Have you got anything else for this one?
Huh. Not really. I have a stupid thing, so if you have something serious, you should go first.
No, mine's literally, everything else I want to talk about doesn't come up until the later episodes.
Oh, okay, great. So the stupid thing that I just want to call out and acknowledge is the fact that early on in the episode, Kyōraku and Starrk exchange a literal, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. They're talking about powers, but they say those words. That's all I have to say.
Starrk is very hyperfixated on seeing
the Bankai specifically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's a case of he hasn't even shown his Shikai yet, and you want him to go straight to Bankai?
Well, we've all met Toshiro, but yes.
Yes. We've met Toshiro, we've met Ichigo, we've met Renji,
Oh, yeah. Renji, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Yeah.
We've even met Kensei.
Oh. Yeah.
Kensei, because in that, Turn Back the Pendulum arc, we see that
wait, I forgot about that. You're so
we
right.
See that, Kensei is the Renji of the Vizards. It's fine.
I mean, he is easily the most, like, up-in-your-face marshal of that group. Easily. Like, no contest.
Yeah.
Other than Mashiro, but I guess they go together, so fair enough.
Yeah.
She kicks things. It counts. That's all I have, though. I had a good time watching. I was absolutely enwrapped, and people did cool things, and I had a nice time. Yeah, that's episode 275 for me.
So manga anime differences for 276. We've got the manga chapters of 358. King of the Clouds, which is actually only the middle pages of 8 to 12. Then we skip to 360, Shock of the Queen, and then we go back to 359, the Frozen Obelisk, minus the first 8 pages. We've got differences of... In the anime, Soi Fon asks Omeda to fight Barragan, whereas in the manga, he becomes a decoy. But both times Omeda freaks out. But he couldn't really freak out about being a decoy because in the anime they had that decoy filler in the last episode. So they had to change it to fight Barragan. Okay, Every time we see Starrk and Kyōraku, it's filler. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. That's so disappointing. You know what? Fine. I'll take it. Fine. This is an instance of filler where I'm like, this feels like an expansion on character that I believe. For both of them. That feels fine.
Mm-hmm. Omeda dropping a building on Barragan is filler. Because at this point, Omeda is the decoy. And he runs after seeing Hitsugai's attack. Because the Hitsugaya attack's happening at the same time. Barragan uses Respira, which also causes him to run. Whereas Anime has to use Respira twice because... wants to destroy the building and then wants to chase after Omeda.
All right, sure.
The second time we see Ukitake and Lonlieness, that is filler. The first time it's not, but the second time is filler.
Yep.
And then it's just a minor detail that I noticed when Omeda was fighting Mammut, but didn't say anything because I was like, oh, it's just like a little random difference. But Omeda's not wearing his lieutenant badge. And he wasn't wearing it back then.
In the manga?
No, in the anime.
In the anime?
Yeah.
Oh. Does he wear it somewhere unusual? I've never really looked at that.
No, he wasn't wearing it at all. And it's noticeable because in the manga, when Omeda is running away from Barragan's Respira, the lieutenant badge disintegrates because of Barragan's attack, and he has to cut it off to stop himself getting decayed. Whereas in the anime, he crashes into a wall and then takes a fight scene from a chapter. But so it just kind of expands and everything. But the little detail of his lieutenant badge disintegrating.
Wow.
And then
No, I'm just scrolling through some images, and there are some of him like very clearly in this part of Bleach, and he's mostly not wearing the badge at all. Yeah, that's really odd.
Yeah. Whereas in the manga, the whole time he's been wearing it, and when he was fighting Mammut, I was like, oh, he's got a badge on in the manga, but not in the anime. Oh, it's only a tiny little detail. It's not going to be important. No, it was important.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess they didn't want to spend time on that, even though they could have, given the amount of filler that they included.
I know.
But, sure, fine. Huh.
Yeah. Because as soon as his lieutenant badge disintegrates, that's when he's like, Soi Fon, help me! Whereas the anime had to kind of extend it and takes a little bit of a fight scene from later on in the manga. Just basically Barragan taunting him. But yeah, it was... There we go. But that's it.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, question for you.
Oh boy.
Kind of follows on from what we were discussing 2 minutes ago with Barragan's power.
Oh, okay.
What did Barragan get from Aizen if he's already this powerful?
Oh, God.
Because, like, I feel like if Barragan's acting like he was king and that he has royalty... So, was he royalty before Aizen, or did Aizen give him royalty?
That's a good question. Well, okay, so his resurrection form has a crown. And I would like to think that that's not something... And also his mask is basically a crown. So, either this is like a self-perception thing, or it's... something that was genuinely there's no way that wasn't before Aizen. There's absolutely no way. Like I think he must have. Yeah. So yes, safe to assume. I think that And I actually feel like I'm remembering that from somewhere deep in the, like, recesses of my fandom lore brain. I feel like he was king before Aizen ever showed up. I do feel like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just looked it up, and now I'm confirming, yes.
Yeah.
he was a king, but he was a king before Aizen ever showed up. Okay, great. So what did Aizen offer him? Jesus, I don't know. So, okay. So maybe then is the implication that Aizen is more powerful than Barragan, and so Aizen's like, I will not fuck you
live
up if you, yeah, basically. Ironic, I will let you live. Jesus. Unless, I wonder if it's maybe more of an extent, like, okay, so you're already king of Hueco Mundo. Well, if I become Soul King, think of how much more you could have. It could have been something like that.
Oh yeah. Because, yeah, if Barragan's already got everything and he's already got king, then did Aizen dethrone him by being more powerful than him, and Barragan is just basically forced to follow him or die? So, whereas everybody else got something out of it, he's there by force? Or reluctance to give in?
Yeah. I see him sort of begrudgingly working together with Aizen because he either is gonna get something out of it or avoid something he doesn't want by doing so.
Yeah. Which, kind of terrifying, the fact that Aizen can defeat someone like Barragan.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you want to follow the whole, like, right, let's say, so Barragan self-identifies as a king, and it's like one of the oldest tropes in the book that politicians and figures of royal authority can be easily influenced and swayed, and if Aizen's power is hypnosis, then the idea of, like, look at the world that we could have, very plausible, I imagine, because Barragan seems to be, like, confident, he's got an ego on him. If Aizen shows him something that he likes with his Zanpakuto, then I'm sure Barragan's gonna be on board, even if he doesn't like submitting to somebody else's authority.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Everything the light touches.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the best answer I have to that, though.
No. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I accept.
I tried.
Yep.
Thanks. Good. Again, pure speculation. Well, no, well-informed speculation, but speculation nonetheless. Yeah, for now. Okay, so, another question I have is, do you have any thoughts about this I know we touched on it earlier, but why do you think Starrk is so fixated on Kyōraku's Bankai specifically?
Fun answer. Aizen's never seen it, and he's given Starrk the mission of seeing it.
Wait, that's great, and I think very plausible.
And so that's why he wants to be able to see it so he can fulfill his mission, so he can get whatever it was he was promised.
You gotta wonder, actually, thinking of that, Aizen hasn't been captain for very long. He definitely has not been captain for more than, like, 100-ish years. So you gotta wonder how many Bankai he's even seen.
Yeah.
Captain's Bankai, anyway.
Yeah, because he's definitely seen all the lieutenants' Shikais.
Oh, sure. I mean, I feel like Shikai is pretty... is commonplace enough that if someone was like, oh, okay, he's seen most Shikai at this point, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. But I suppose a captain using their Bankai isn't something that's gonna just come up in day-to-day conversation.
Exactly.
They've not had anything...
The past 100 years have been pretty peaceful as well, right?
Exactly, yeah. So there's not gonna be any opportunity for that to have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe...
So no wonder they're having a tea party at the end, because Aizen's just like, so that's what Soi Fon's Bankai is. Ooh,
yeah, it's his version of eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aizen's just enjoying the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but so I guess I imagine he hasn't seen most of them. I mean, I don't know why he would have.
Yeah.
Especially because in some situations, like if you think about Renji and Chad training together, like sure, Renji busted out his Bankai to help Chad train, for example, but a lot of these Bankai are probably, and even some of these Shikai, like may or may not be great for helping other people train. So even if you think, like if Squad 5 was training together with another squad, it probably would be less helpful for a captain to just go Bankai to help Squad 5 train, or, you know, their own squad train or whatever. So, and it depends on the person, but, like, I don't see Soi Fon, because Soi Fon also, wait, we should talk about that. We should talk about Soi Fon's Bankai. I'm like, she's not going to show that to people. She's clearly either embarrassed
ashamed?
Yeah, something like that.
Because Omeda, her own lieutenant, has never seen it.
Right. So you know what? This is also confirmation that not every captain and not every person likes their Bankai, right? Like we also know, we know Hisagi, like, is afraid of his Shikai. We know that Yumichika hides things about his Shikai, which is so, we don't always automatically love and accept all parts of ourselves. Like, loving and accepting yourself is a process and takes time and takes learning and unlearning and all of these wonderful things. Yeah.
And Soi Fon's is, like, very the opposite of what the Stealth Corps is trying to be. It's very flashy and showy. You're not gonna find an assassin hiding in the bush with a big long missile bullet on their shoulder, you know.
I'm just thinking flashback to Kisuke, who, like, writes joke messages with blood on the wall. I'm not flashy. On Mitsukido, me, I don't do anything extra ever. Not even once. I just do Ritzer Crier. Nothing more. No flair. My hat is subtle. This is a subtle hat.
Subtle hat. Yeah.
Subtle hat.
Worst Omnisquito ever.
Except not at all, because he's amazing, but yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, categorically one of the absolute best, but I digress. Which, that's kind of interesting, actually. I didn't even think about it. But Kisuke, so, like, he definitely does fly under the radar when he wants to, but he was a high-ranking, important Onmitsukido person, and he's got flair. Like, he does. And Soi Fon, as an important person involved in the Onmitsukido, whether she wants to acknowledge it or not, like, girl, she's got flair too.
Yeah.
That's a connection I never really realized before. I don't know. And Yoruichi is Onmitsukido, or like, is leadership within that position all about, like, you don't notice me until you notice me? Does, you know, like, oh, I'm just here until I'm up in your face and making a big deal out of something because it's important. Bam, bitch.
Possibly. Application for Captain of Omnisquito. How flashy are you?
Yeah, exactly. Can you be extra on command?
Speaking of Yoruichi, though.
Oh, yes.
We discussed way back with the Soi Fon versus Yoruichi fight on top of Sogyoku Hill. And we indicated that their kind of auras when they went Shunko was very wind and electric-like. Wind for Soi Fon and electric for Yoruichi.
Yeah.
Which links into Soi Fon's Bankai, which,
let
me get the translation, because I forgot to write it down.
Wait, you're so right. Jakuho Rai Koben is what it's called.
And then, which translates to Hornet Thunder Duke Whip. So there's the thunder lightning in there as well.
Ooh. Say that again. Thunder what now? Thunder?
Hornet Thunder Duke Whip. But
whoa.
Let me get what it actually says.
I'm looking at the characters as well. I'm going to look that up because now I'm quite curious.
Yeah. That's what it says on the wiki, but I felt like it was something different in the manga. So let me just find the manga.
Give me the characters, Bleach Wiki. What are you doing?
360.
Fine, I'll just go to the page on your...
I've got the characters here if you want them.
Oh, yeah, can you copy and paste? Cheers.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank y'all.
Hornet Thunder Whip. So the
Hornet
Duke.
Thunder Whip.
Yeah. The Hornet from her bee from before. And then Thunder Whip. Doesn't look like a whip, though. It looks more like a sex toy, but there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Wasp. What the heck? Okay. Okay, cool. I guess I thought there was going to be a wind one, but it's just thunder. That's okay. That's cool. It's also worth noting, looking at these characters, they are all characters that, like, and this is, which I say with the caveat of having minored in Chinese when I was in undergrad. These are all... So great. So, like, all this to say, like, I have some basis for asserting this, but I'm not an expert, but it's not out of nowhere. The characters that make up the name of her Bankai, because the way that Soi Fon's name, or like Sui-Fēng, depending on how it's written, what you're looking at, whatever, like, there is a certain direct Chinese influence in a lot of her linguistic stuff, and that applies to her Bankai as well. All of these characters exist in like Chinese, which, granted, Japanese kanji are also Chinese characters, but there are often different, like, you'll get kanji and kana interspersed together, and so I don't know. I look at this and I have to think about it carefully because my eye is a little bit untrained before I can conclusively say, like, oh, that is definitely Chinese or that is definitely Japanese. So, like, nice to see that thread of Chinese running through all of the linguistic elements of Soi Fon's identity and powers. It's a good consistency. Yeah.
As someone who only speaks English, the fact that Kubo goes into all this effort with not only just Soi Fon, but the Espada, the Quincy's, everyone who's got a different kind of element, and then links it back to Japanese as well.
It's brilliant. Yeah, he's so good at that.
It's brilliant. It's amazing. I'm just like, how do you even come up with this? I can't even speak English half the time.
Yeah, but here's a lot of native English speakers can't. Like, we're notoriously bad at that, actually. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, so I guess the only thing that I really, just to tie it all together, wanted to say about this episode that we didn't really touch on last when it went in 275 is just that, yeah, I understand Soi Fon's resistance to her Bankai. Actually, I'm realizing now how cool that she has achieved Bankai despite the way she feels about that. So, like, self-awareness does not equal self-acceptance necessarily, but she has reached self-awareness, I guess, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is exciting to me from a character development standpoint, not just for Soi Fon, but potentially for other characters who have achieved Bankai as well, that you can wield a power that suits you, whether you like it or not. And I like that Kubo is introducing another opportunity for interpersonal or, like, personal tension in his writing, because you could just write you could write thousands and thousands of words about just the relationship between Soi Fon and her Zanpakuto, I'm sure. So,
oh yeah,
having seen this now, like, how fucking cool.
Yeah. I wonder as well if it was a necessity thing, because we don't even know what kind of ranking she had in the Omniscido when Yoruichi was around. And then Yoruichi left, so did she then overcome all of her concerns about her own Bankai, push through to get Bankai just so she could step into that role and become the captain?
You know, that's a great thought. I hope so, actually. That would be a really cool arc. Oh, I love that for her as a possibility.
Yeah.
Because she's a hard worker. I can see her pushing herself to that point, for sure.
And she's stubborn. And she just wants to kind of prove that she is better than Yoichi with the whole, here's something I created, it's called Shunka, and Yoichi's like, actually I created it, so you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Soi Fon needs a hug.
She really does. I'd said when Omeda rescued her, you know how Omeda was there and standing behind her. At this point, I was just like, could that not have been Yoichi finally making her appearance, giving Soi Fon a pat on the head saying, good girl, and then going off to...
Frankly, I feel like that would grind Soi Fon's gears pretty hard.
It really would have. But I think she would have been all flustered and red and gone like, like all tongue-tied when she first appeared. And then
would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually not a bad...
Be still my Yo Soy heart.
It's a it's a ship that doesn't confuse me, and it is a complicated ship. It is a complicated ship. I don't know. I find that the thing about is it a crush or do I want to be you? Differences in power levels, not just from a fighting standpoint, but from a like true like ranking standpoint, and also from a mentorship standpoint. It's like it is not unlike being in middle school or high school and having a crush on your awesome 30-year-old teacher in some ways.
Yeah.
Which, that is real. Like, I had crushes on some of my teachers all the time. Like, which, granted, knowing how much, like, I have a competence kink. Is that a thing? Where it's like, if somebody is really good at something, I'm like, oh, God. Like, right away. And I could see Soi Fon having a similar reaction to competent people. Yoruichi is absolutely competent, and she's also cool, and she's also very hot. So, I don't know. There are dynamics. I don't know. It is a layered ship, and sometimes I think it's really cute, and sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, are we sure?
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah. But I get it.
Get it, yep.
That's it for me for this episode, though.
I have just a shout out to Ukitake being good babysitter and entertaining and being encouraging. He was so encouraging for Lilith. You can do it. Come on.
Yep. Because he knows he's not. And at this point, it's been long enough. And like also just in general, I imagine he's pretty good at sizing up an opponent quickly and being like, all right, is this in my wheelhouse or do I need to be worried? And then as the Lynette continues to like tries and fails, you know that he's like, oh, she's never gonna. Okay. Like,
yeah.
there's just no way. So he might as well help her.
Bless her.
He'd be a great coach for like a children's sports team.
He really would.
He'd be so good.
Yeah. So he'd definitely like softball or football or some sort of little league, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And then quick question for you. Who is worse at Kido, Renji or Omeda?
Oh, fuck me. I have to say, well, granted, our sample size for Omeda is smaller, but Omeda fucked up royally, and Renji was able to get Zyle good that one time. So I'm gonna say Omeda's worse at Kido.
I mean, the only Kido Omeda used was a smoke screen, which was probably intentional because he's Omni-Skido. And that's probably the only Kido they know.
He then lost his own ability to like see and breathe. So I don't know.
Yeah, because
they're both
if
bad.
He'd shot like a natural Kido towards Barragan,
right?
Would that have worked? Would the Kido have decayed?
Yeah, which by the way, the fact that he used a Bakudo, he didn't use a Hado, and Bakudo is way of binding, and Hado is way of destruction. I think. Yeah. So the idea that he's like, I know, he's gonna be vulnerable to my ranged Kido attack, and then proceeds to use Bakudo instead of Hado? Weird choice. So you just explained what you were gonna do, and then you didn't do that. You did literally completely something else.
Bless him.
Yeah, that seals it for me. Omeda's worse at Kido. What are you doing, sir?
He's not even trying at this point.
I mean, unless he truly was just buying more time, I guess. But the explanation that he gave in the anime of like, oh, I got it, Kido can reach him, and then he goes with a smoke screen is was inconsistent and a strange choice.
Yeah. What did he say? Why isn't my Zanpakuto?
I didn't bother.
Yeah. Why isn't my Zanpakuto a Kido type that can shoot fire, flame, or ice? That's it. Aikido. Aikido will get it. I've discovered your weakness. Bakudo 2. Where'd smoke escape? Whoosh.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. I know. I wish my Zanpakuto could blast things at you. Proceeds to put up a smoke screen?
Yep.
What? I don't know what you're doing, my dude. I don't know what that choice was. Backed up by that explanation, especially. I don't know what that choice was.
Yeah.
I do wish Soi Fon would be kinder to him. I will say that.
Yeah.
Like, I know that she's going through shit. I know that she's not a warm and fuzzy person, but she is. And, you know, the stakes are high, tensions are high. Nobody's at their best right now, probably, but she doesn't have to go that far.
Exactly.
And, it's not the only time in Bleach that we get some like sizist and fatphobic jokes, and I'm just here to say in the year of our Lord 2022 that we shouldn't do that. We don't do that. No. Bodies are bodies and everyone has one, so shut up.
Exactly. And she picked him, so if she didn't like him, why did she pick him? Why did she not pick someone else to be her lieutenant?
It's a very good call out. Yeah, I don't know.
Because we know that captains pick the lieutenant, so yeah.
Yeah. Generally. Is that true?
Yeah, no, it's confirmed. I'm pretty sure Ukitake said it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because, I mean, I guess if you think about Shinji and Aizen and that whole conversation they had. Yeah.
I mean, Did
Byakuya pick Renji, though? Is that...
I assume so.
Oh.
Maybe it was like a pool of, here's the people who are eligible for lieutenancy. Take your pick from this pool of people.
Maybe. I'm trying to think if there are any lieutenants that carried over from the previous generation, because we know some of those captain slots were then filled.
Yeah.
When some of the captains went elsewhere. I don't think so off the top of my head, right? Because a lot of them were both the captain and lieutenant together, either changed roles or ended up getting hollowified.
Got promoted, disappeared off the face of the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ugh.
The only thing I can think of for Omedo, at least, is nepotism. Cause
nepotism makes sense.
His dad was lieutenant, so he automatically gets lieutenancy as well, and Soi Fon's not got a choice in the matter, because she's not a Shihoin, and Shihoin usually command Kido and Omniskido, so because she's just kind of like place-holding it.
Yeah. This isn't... Oh, geez, I don't remember if, where, whatever we learned this, but wasn't Iba's mom Rose's lieutenant? That's a thing, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I love
Chikane.
So. Yeah. Yep.
And she's like a scary lady.
Yep.
Ooh, there's some like bootleg art or something somewhere of official Rose like looking off into the corner with like a kind of facial expression.
It's in the manga volumes. It's in the manga.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I love that because it shows them all.
Also be in I feel like there's like a color insert in the masked book as well that because I do have that. That it's
I think
something like that. Anyway.
Because it shows it's the only chance that we see like Chikane and Kotsubaki, Seinusuke.
Yeah.
Byakuya's dad, I can't remember his name, and Omeda's dad.
Sojun. His name is
Sojun, that's the dude. Yeah.
Yep. I have had cannons about him for days, actually. I think he's lovely. I think he's really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. I found it. Oh, yeah. God, it's everybody with their fucking... I love this piece of art.
I love
so
it.
much.
It's so good.
I absolutely
It just
adore
fuels
it.
my headcanons. But I suppose
Good
then,
God.
if we're thinking...
Look at his face! We're getting so off topic. I'm so sorry.
I know. But to bring it back round to Omeda, if Rose... It's stated in Thousand Year Blood War... Nope, turn back the pendulum.
Whoa! Sorry.
It's stated in Turn Back the Pendulum that Rose had only been captain for 2 years. So I wonder.
Rose was new. Rose was quite.
Yeah.
That sucks. Honestly, that sucks so hard.
I know, right? He was like 9, 10, 11 years, and then he gets carted off to the world. Yeah.
God, brutal.
So if maybe Chikane was a kind of already in the lieutenant position, so in that,
I wonder because she's older.
Exactly.
And she looks like she's an older person, which means she is like definitely not a young woman.
Yeah. So in that sense, then that is the only time that a captain wouldn't choose their own lieutenant. So Omeda, because I doubt Soi Fon would have gone straight to where she was into the captaincy role.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So it may have been that
Omeda that was.
So it may have been that somebody else was captain, maybe even Omeda's dad. Omeda promotes his own son, and then Soi Fon finally takes over and has to deal with the nepotism that was the Omedas being lieutenants.
Right, because they're nobles, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's written into their contract. I will be a lieutenant. Free ride.
God. I mean, maybe. Nobles are fucking weird, dude. I don't know. I mean, the Kuchikis have been in the 6th for Lord knows how long.
I'm still staring at these lieutenants, and I've only just now realized
I am as well.
That you can see Lisa's.
You get so much personality in all of these little images. Like, everybody has so much personality here.
Yeah.
We'll drop this in the show notes just because it's cute in case you've never seen it, listeners. It's really, really lovely. And then you get to see what Byakuya's dad looks like. He looks so nice.
Yeah. And I can't stop staring at Lisa's bare leg. Sorry, that's just me loving Lisa.
God, I know.
But it's the first time I've seen that. You see her leg behind
Kyoraku's head.
They're all great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Aizen has a bit of a mullet.
Who has a mullet?
I mean, a bit. Oh, Aizen, a little bit.
Oh yeah, party in the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to show the dynamics that Hiyori is in the front, whereas all the other captains are at the front.
Oh.
Well, and Omeda, which is a weird choice.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, actually it's...
Oh, not Love. Love's lieutenant is in the front as well.
Yeah, it's stylistic. Kotsubaki's there. Centaro's dad. Bless him.
What? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you said Centaro's dead, and I was like, what? No, absolutely not. Sorry.
Centaro's dead. Anyway.
Yeah.
Back.
Well, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Speaking of dead, should we...
I suppose we better go back to what was it?
Bring it back round. Yeah.
We get off topic with that.
Thank you for entertaining this detour. Yeah. Worth it. Oh my god, we haven't even talked about Kyōraku versus Starrk yet. Oh my god.
Anyway. Okay, shall we just go into episode 277 then?
All right.
Yeah, you all good with 276?
Oh yeah, we've yup
exhausted that.
And then some.
We've exhausted it to death, as you could say.
I was on the verge of making a very similar joke, and then the words didn't come together, so thank you. Good lord.
Okay. So Manga Chapters for 277, we've only got 361, I Hate Loneliess, but It Loves Me.
Oh, I know where we are now. Mm-hmm,
yep. And 362, Howling Wolves. So it's only 2, whereas the others have all had 3. Well, ish, because they've been random pages. But yeah. But this is just full 2-1, so there's no jumping about in these ones. Manga anime differences. We've got Omeda's play-by-play of how he saved Soi Fon's life. So we had that little...
What?
Yeah, we had that little flashback
He did help.
He did help. And he had him, like, scrambling up. You had him, like, fighting against the wind. Yeah, and then he gets there just in time. No, yeah, it's just... It's not there. Yeah. We had Kyōraku and Starrk's weird slash and dodge, where Kyōraku's just very lazily just hitting him and Starrk's like dodging it very like lackadaisically. Yeah, that was filler.
Yeah, fine. Sure.
Yeah. Remember Gin, Tosen, and Aizen? Yeah, the manga doesn't. Because that was filler.
Fine. Yeah, fine.
And Starrk only fires one Sero before he does his submachine Sero. So that whole section of Kyōraku analyzing Stark's pistols and going, oh, this one does this, and when you do this one...
and the recharge and the holster and whatever.
Yeah, that was all filler.
Huh.
Wait,
do they actually call it Submachine Zero in the manga?
That's what the translation is.
That's sick. That's very cool.
Yep. I just couldn't pronounce it. How did I pronounced it?
Well, okay, because it's kind of silly because in the sub, when this actor who speaks Japanese says it, he says metraleta, and if you speak Spanish, the double L is the Y sound.
Exactly,
so as far as I'm concerned, all bets are off and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because that's the only bit of Spanish I know is that two L's make a Y. So when I was spelling it out so I could pronounce it, I did matrayata.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. And I also don't know what they say in the
other one, the one that we don't watch.
Good Lord. The one where people speak English. I feel like I've said this before, but truly, no shade if you are a dub watcher, no shade if you were a sub watcher. We all have our preferences. They're both lovely experiences, and we all get to share in this story together. I'm not here to shit on anybody who prefers one over the other. It's all good, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, in this case, I'm here for Submachine Zero. That's A, easier to say, and B, in this context, sounds pretty badass.
Oh, it really does. Yeah.
I'm looking it up now. Whoa, there's a song called Zero Metralleta.
Of course there is.
Yeah, by Red Sofa.
Are they
it's a hip-hop or rap song. Wait.
Oh.
I don't know. Let me see. No, I think it's just... Well, maybe. Let me see if it's any good. Ah! Oh, it's not a... Wait a second. What the hell?
I was like, if it's heavy metal or that stuff that Kubo likes to listen to, then that makes sense.
What? Kubo doesn't listen to a lot of heavy metal. I mean, ish. Which, is that a song? Wait, what the hell? Listen. What? He's more punk anyway. Sorry. Totally. I can't find it. It's here somewhere. Ooh. Oh, it sounds like it's just a remix of Stark's themes, or of that Spanish guitar hollow theme song. This is actually really good. It's like lo-fi.
Oh, cool. Oh, I like lo-fi.
Yeah. Huh. Wait, whoa, this is a whole mood. I'm gonna drop it to you.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can listen to it later. Yeah, this is like it's very Starrk. It's clearly a remix of Bleach music though. So
yeah.
So great, hooray! Wow, look at that. Anyway, yeah. So,
okay. Yeah.
What were you saying about the submachine gun, Sarah?
So, that he only fires it once in the anime, in the manga, whereas he has to fire it twice in the,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah. Okay, are you ready for my aspects of death question?
Oh gosh, another one? Yeah!
So this is the one in reference, this is the one that I thought of while I was listening to last week's episode.
Oh, okay, yes.
So you and Lethan discussed loneliness, and thinking that Ulquiorra has no faccione, so his is more kind of suited to loneliness?
Well, Lethan said that. I disagree with her.
Yeah. So do you think opinions have changed with the revelation that Lonlieness isn't Stark's faccione, but his is Zanpakuto? And he literally, in order to combat his own loneliness, he created a person to not be lonely with. Or
something like that. Yeah. It sort of goes back to what I was saying last week, right? The idea that Ulquiorra, who signifies emptiness, doesn't have that visceral longing for connection. Mm-hmm. He just kind of has nothing. And so it's suitable in that way that all he does when he dies is just fade away into dust, right?
Yeah.
But in the case of Starrk, even if he didn't have anyone around him for whatever reason, we don't know why, he still wanted that connection, and it was so desperate that when he divided his power in an appropriate way, it was a person and not a sword or a gun, or both.
Yeah.
Because at the very least then it's like, so circle way, way back to our introduction to Starrk, which is Starrk lying down, presumably trying to take a nap, and this energetic kid is jumping up and down on top of him. So if you really zoom out, that is Starrk having a two-sided conversation with himself. Like, that's what we are seeing. And there is almost nothing that seems lonelier to me than being so desperate for connection with somebody else that you truly, truly have a thorough, well fleshed out conversation with two real sides with yourself. Like, that's extreme.
They do say that some of the best conversations you can have are with yourself.
Who says that?
I do.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm sure it's a quote. I'm sure, like, I'm not the only one who says that. I guess that.
Yeah, probably not. That's like a just shower thoughts moment. I don't fucking know.
And then it goes, like, some of the best conversations you can have are the ones with yourself because you can't talk back. But in this case, I'm pretty sure Lonlieness would talk back.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I mean, we don't always, I mean, as was exemplified by Soi Fon, we don't necessarily, there are parts of ourselves that can be in conflict with each other sometimes. Like, as people, we are full of contradictions. That's part of what it is to have humanity in the first place, I think. And I do think hollows have humanity. I mean, whatever. Humanity is such a, like, when I say humanity, I guess I mean personhood. I don't mean, like, nobody, whatever. Nobody's human. We're talking about souls and hollows. Nobody's fucking human.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, well, except for Chad. I guess Orihime is a human, too.
Shida.
We're being... I guess so. God. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about Starrk and his loneliness, whether as it relates to Lonlieness or otherwise?
I think it's hard because we see him release his resurrection, which is Los Lobos, the wolves. And everyone's got this connotation that wolves are solitary, lonely creatures, the lone wolf.
Oh, yeah.
But wolves aren't. They are very much... Wolves are someone who live in packs. They are, they bond and they thrive with that pack. So Starrk being this lone wolf, longing for a pack of its own, then could tie in with that loneliness.
That's so true. And it never occurred to me. I mean, I'd have to go through a whole entire list, but I feel like most of the names of the releases that we get are in the singular. Los Lobos is plural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. There are two wolves inside you, and both of them want to make out with Kyōraku. I just... Which, honestly, I get it, dude. I know I've been harping on that a lot. I don't know if they actually want to fuck, or whether it's just that they are both so... they both speak in innuendo and with subtlety so much that it is difficult to tell whether they are having what they're having a conversation about. And so, like, yes, it could be about their powers. It could be about the fight. It could be about Aizen. It could be about anything. And it's gonna read as kind of flirty because they're dancing around so much. Mm-hmm. And because Kyōraku's just fucking like that. Like, he sounds like he's flirting with everybody.
Yeah, he does.
He really does.
He really does.
I had a thought about powers being contained within swords and such. And my thought was, so Starrk says that most of the Espada divided their powers into body and sword. And when he and Lonlieness return to being one, their powers are released. And so that... sort of, this might be nothing, but I am curious, especially because Kubo paired him with Kyōraku, in terms of opposition. So if a Shinigami's release requires two swords, does that mean that the power of their Shikai can't be contained in just one? Is that an indication of power level in any way, or is that just me being hopeful?
I mean, yeah, because Starrk...
Probably it's me being hopeful, but...
Well, Stark's got 2 pistols. We've got that duality with Stark.
True.
2 pistols against 2 swords, so...
Yeah. Just knowing that it is such a rare thing. It is a very uncommon thing for your Shikai to be 2 weapons.
Yeah. Is this the first espada that we've seen with a long-ranged Zanpakuto?
Ooh.
Because all the other ones, I think, have been like melee, at least sword-shaped with a sharp edge, something with a pointy end.
Yeah, Zyle's not so much, but he needs to get at you to, like, make his little dolls, and then he can spit you out, and you can be wherever, and he can wreak havoc from a distance, but he needs to have, like, grabbed you first.
Yeah. It's still attached to him.
Presumably Aranero could, but we didn't see that.
Yeah, no, because he just kind of used Kayans, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because even Barragan's got, like, a 2-headed axe, so...
And his radius is centered on himself. Oh, Halibel can do ranged stuff. She can blast water wherever she wants to, I suppose.
True. But it's still got a pointy end.
Yes. Water with a pointy end.
Water with a pointy end.
Water with a pointy end. That's how Halibel describes her gender. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we get Starrk's release, and we get to see Kyōraku's also. And we've seen both him and Ukitake technically go Shikai when they were fighting Yamamoto. They both were like, here are our 2 swords, we are standing next to each other, brothers in arms, da-da-da-da-da-da, but we didn't get to see them do anything.
No, they did in that point what they didn't do in this point, which was give us an essay of a release command.
Yes. So beautiful. Yeah, I missed it. I was looking forward to it, and but I guess I just, like, put it into my memory falsely that they actually did the release command thing here. I really wish they had. They're so beautiful. Oh, well.
Blinking, you missed it. No nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, it does make more sense. And it's a cool thing to note that they can both... I'm going to assume, actually, that Ukitake didn't, because I would like to think that it was like Starrk releases his submachine gun Sero situation, and Kyōraku, which, by the way, the fact that he was able to dodge like that is impressive. Especially, God, Kyōraku is so fucking layered, man. It's one of the reasons I love him so much, but he's so chill, and he speaks so slowly, and he is so at ease, and then... as Starrk is shooting, then he is dancing all over the place, and he is moving fucking fast. And now we're like, oh, okay, you are that good. But I like to think that Ukitake saw that and was like, oh, gotta jump to action, and then didn't bother taking the time, because his release command is long as shit also.
He does it for show, like, because there's no one to show off, especially for Ukitake. There was no one listening, so what's the point in, like, wheeling it off? Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody, it would be for Stark's benefit, but
Kyōraku didn't do it, yeah.
The second he cracked that little smirk, it was fucking over. Like, I was about to say, like, game time is over, but, like, actually, no, it is game time.
Yep.
But whatever that means.
I just got that, sorry.
You need to stay tuned for probably next week. I don't know. Next week after, something like that. Teaser trailer. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So also, he takes off his kimono. Wait a second. Where did his kimono? Ukitake was supposed to be keeping track of that, and now he's up there using a shikai. What the fuck did you do with your friend's kimono, dude? The fact that I've never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's it. But again, right, circling back, not getting distracted. I'm so bad at that. But yeah, it's a serious enough fight. Like, I don't know, like, is that it is symbolic of the fact that he's getting more serious and he's choosing to just present himself as a captain and not an individual with flair. Like, he loses so many of his like stylistic aesthetic accoutrement as he gets more serious about the fight. The hat goes away, the kimono goes away.
He'll be putting on socks next.
Oh, I don't. That would be a bit much.
Hold on, let me just put these songs on.
Yes, right. Kick about this.
How to defeat a fight against Toshiro. Putting socks on to prevent my feet from getting frostbitten.
It's frostbite. Yeah, exactly. We don't really get any explanation of what Kyōraku can do, by the way. Like, we kind of get him... So his swords have changed shape, and he moves around and he shouts some stuff, but we don't get anything more than that, really.
Exactly, yeah. He showcased two... I say showcased in the loosest term possible. He gave us two attack names, but what these attacks actually did... Duh.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where, like, if you speak Japanese and you have context for what those words are, you might have an inkling of what's coming up, but I actually feel like it's less fun to talk about it until we have more information. But
yeah,
if you just have the words, it's kind of like, okay, you're doing something, but what are you what is this?
Yeah. All there is to say is that, though, that this fight is not over, despite its climactic title.
Who's ready for round 2?
It is not over, and now, you know, hubby has joined the fray, and everyone should be worried.
Yep. Jeez, I guess I don't really have anything else other than, like, well, things are heating up.
And that's just not the 3 people inside of a Ryujin jacket.
Hey! I thought you were going to say inside of the love triangle, but also that. You're right. I mean, who's to say? Maybe frankly, what a great excuse to just, like, take a little break, kick back, make out with your besties. Like, no one can see what's happening inside that ring of fire.
Right?
I'm not saying they're besties, really, I guess. That's a bit... It's their colleagues. I don't...
Yeah. But no, I am all good for this one if you are.
Yeah, I think I just have one more thing, which is sort of on the note of Starrk's loneliness one more time. I really just, to kind of ground it a little bit and bring it back to, like, I don't know, just to say, like, I know people like this a little bit. There's a bit when Kyōraku is... He says to Starrk, aren't you, like, a Rancor number 1? Aren't you worried about your comrades? When he sees that Toshiro has clearly, like, done a number on Holobell, and maybe the explosion has happened, and Soi Fon has maybe not taken out Barragan. And Starrk has this really strong reaction to Kyōraku's use of the word comrades, and then he's like, no, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Let's just move on, kind of. And it reminded me so hard of, you know, those people who, like, clearly something is bothering them and they're being kind of cagey about it. But it's that thing of, like, I'm not going to say anything and I'm not going to bring it to your attention, but secretly you kind of know they want another person to notice. They're never going to bring it up, but they want another person to notice that they're not okay. I got that sense from Starrk.
Yeah.
Massively in that moment. And, like, of course, Kyōraku is his enemy right now, so he's not gonna...
As much as we want it, they're not gonna sit down and have a cup of tea and pour out
and
their
Kyōraku
feelings.
would probably prefer that as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, Kyōraku is not the kind of person who fights for fighting's sake. It's just the way the dominoes fell, they have to finish this. Mm-hmm. And Kyōraku is practical enough that he knows that. But, yeah... It just felt really real. The loneliness felt really real in that moment. That's all.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Bless him.
Yep.
Are you ready for volume cover game?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just as long as you promise me, because I'm not going to be on the next episode, as long as you promise me that you will talk about Ukitake's powers. Because, you know, it's probably better... Because I'm curious to hear what you all have to say and what you think, because we're going to get to see him do some stuff. And I know very well what I think and feel about his powers, and I would love to hear other people's takes. That's all.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Ukitake.
Cool. Thank you.
Ukitake. I've put it in my list for future episodes, which also includes Yamamoto. bleep, 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 bleep. Chojiro, bleep, 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 bleep. Lilinet and Starrk when bleep, bleep, and bleep, bleep is revealed.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, it's done there. Ukitake's powers.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Thanks. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Volume 42.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
The poem is... No world exists without sacrifice. Do we not realize that we call this hell where ash floats upon a sea of blood the world?
Well, if it's sacrifice, that's gotta be Hannibal.
It is Hannibal.
Yeah, I feel that's... I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear.
Yeah. This is volume 42, Shock of the Queen. Which,
oh my gosh! So we're if I didn't guess Hannibal before, which would have been a mistake on my part.
Yeah, which
that cinches it. Yeah,
which is interesting because chapter 360, Shock of the Queen, doesn't actually feature Hannibal. It features Lilinet and Soi Fon. So it's confusing as to who the actual Shock of the Queen is in that episode. Like, is it Shock from the thunder of, or is it like a
Bankai? Queen Bee thing?
Yeah, or is it shock of the fact that Lilinet is the Zanpakuto, you know? So
right.
But yeah. Hannibal doesn't feature in that chapter, but she is the overall theming of this book.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings us to our Shinigami Cup, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Yeah.
Peroxide edition. Alrighty then. Nomi, who wore it best this week?
Okay, you're gonna love this one.
Oh god, yeah.
My who wore it best is Kyōraku's face when Ukitake turns up.
Oh, isn't it sweet?
It is so sweet.
It sort of does look like he wasn't expecting it either.
Right? And he's just...
Yeah.
He's just like, just looking over his shoulder and he's like... Uh-oh. It's like a cross between of, uh-oh, I'm in trouble, you're in trouble, we're all in trouble, but, oh my gosh, thank you for turning up type thing.
Yep. Yeah. It does make me wonder how often Ukitake, like, inserts himself into the fray. Like, maybe that's a big deal, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a defensive fighter. He's a defensive fighter, and he's clearly got some distance stuff up his sleeve. Anyway, I'll shut up now and let you all unpack that later.
Well, I was also gonna say, like, he is most notable for quoting, there are two types of battles, and he's not one for getting into people's battles. This is Kyōraku's battle, and if what he's told Rukia before, we don't get involved in other people's battles.
The other possible explanation is that Kyōraku doesn't have any pride, so it doesn't matter. I don't think that's true. Anyway, my who wore it best this week was Barragan wearing his Skeletor costume.
Oh.
Yeah. It was just good. It's just good.
It's
scary. It's good looking. It's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's one of my... I think I must say, like, I don't care much for Barragan, but rewatching this has made me like him a little bit more. And just his aesthetic, his aspect, and his whole look, it just, I really like it.
And his fucking powers. He is so scary. He's
really
actually so scary. Yeah. Same. I feel that way as well. I never think about Barragan as somebody that I particularly like or care for, but this rewatch, his vibe is cool and his powers are scary. And that's kind of all I want in a second-tier villain.
Pun, because he's number
all
2.
Right.
Anyway.
Best ship this week.
My best ship is Ukitake and Kyōraku's kimono.
Oh! Yeah, that's good.
Because you can bet as soon, like, he held it, and you can bet as soon as the camera panned away, he was there sniffing it.
Oh, what a...
Inhaling his scent. He maybe wore it a little bit, you know, just to kind of feel
didn't
like
put it on
an embrace.
Then, but
yeah.
Oh god, I flashback to all of the various fics I've written where I had to think at some length about what they both actually smell like, because those are nice things to describe when you're writing a fic where people love each other, you know?
Oh.
Yeah. okay, before I get too far lost in my... Actually, no, I can stay lost in my reveries for a moment, because my best ship this week, I went straight up, like, as straight up as you can possibly get, and I just gave it to Kyōraku and Ukitake. Like, that's my best ship this week. Like... Thing number 1, what do you want from me? Thing number 2, what do you want from me? Thing number 3, we get to see some really quick, lovely insights into that relationship, and they have each other's backs, and they care about each other, and I love them both as individuals and together, and they complement each other beautifully.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I once said that they're not really my Bleach OTP, and I think it's because, like, they are more than just, like, oh yeah, I want to see them kiss, like, fucking whatever. It's just, they're like, you know how there's Beyond Bankai? They're like my Beyond OTP.
I get, yeah. Oh.
I love them. Yeah. All right. Fandom shout out this week.
Okay, my fandom shout out is a piece of art, and it's more on the kind of funny side of things, but this is by Lido_An0.
Oh, this is cool.
And it's Starrk and Lonlieness. However, Starrk is tall, more adult, more formed, and
Lonlieness is tall, more
yeah. And then Starrk is tiny, and Lonlieness is just kind of resting her arm on Stark's head, a disgruntled Stark's head.
This is really cool.
But they haven't changed their ranking. Lonlieness is still quote-unquote Fractione, and Starrk is still in his Espada garb. But
I love this.
I was like, it's fitting for this episode. Yeah.
Stark's little side-eye face there. Yeah, this is super, super cool. And it's another one of those where the style is very Kubo-esque, but it's clearly a piece of fan work. Oh, this is neat. I am highlighting an artist this week who I think you probably know. Their art blog is called Guilty Portfolio on Tumblr. And there is a lot. I will say, if you scroll through their Bleach art tags and stuff, like you're gonna get some spoilers. It's spoilery for the final arc. Like, I'm sorry, but there are if you are caught up, it is worth it to look through. So I'm just gonna drop a couple of pieces of like very domestic, little modern AU kind of Ukitake and Kyōraku husband shots by this artist. This artist is on Tumblr, by the way. There is also some stuff on this page that if you search like the Shunuki or Kyōuki, I prefer Shunuki because I'm old school, like tag ship tag. There's some not safe for work stuff here, so just be prepared for that. Not all of it, but there's like a decent amount, which I don't know, if you're looking for that, then this is a good place to go. And some of it is also fluffy and sweet. There's a bit of a mix, so if you're staying away from spoilers or if you're staying away from not safe for work, then maybe choose your moment to go through this artist's work. But there is a level of just like mundane intimacy captured in this little series of drawings that it's just right.
I love just domesticity.
I love domestic
I love it.
shit. Yeah. And there's one where, like, so they're clearly supposed to be husbands here, and Kyōraku is, like, wearing his wedding ring on his thumb, which is such a stupid little detail that I think is just so right. I just really like it.
Yeah.
They're so good. Aww. So, yeah.
Too cute.
All right. Anything else to say? I feel like we've covered so much, and yet there's a world of things that we've left entirely untouched.
We've talked about everything and anything except probably what we were meant to talk about, because we went off on so many tangents.
We did. Hey, now, we covered the 3 episodes. We've checked the box. We've done our job.
Exactly. What more do they want? Yeah.
Yeah, one more. Hey, yeah. What more do you want? What more do you want, listeners? Well, if you want more from us this time, then too bad, because that's the end of another episode.
I love it. Yes.
If by some miraculous, glorious chance you like what you heard, I'm kidding. If you like what you heard, then you're not supposed to downplay yourself. If you like what you heard and you want to get involved, you can find us by searching for The Seirete on Instagram and T Seirete on Twitter. Now, Ichigo and Rukia might reap souls, but we are hoping to reap some 5-star reviews, and that is where you come in. Make like our favorite orange-haired protector and Ichi go to iTunes and Spotify to rate us and review us and make us feel like number one. To those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to be like Chad and give us that good thumbs up. We really appreciate it. On the next episode of the podcast, we'll be covering anime episodes 278, The Nightmare Returns, Revival of the Espada. 279, Hirako and Aizen, The Reunion of Fate. Nomi, do you care?
No. What? No.
Just figured I'd check in. And episode 280, Hisagi and Tozen, The Moment of Parting.
Ooh.
We'll see you souls then. Till next time, bye!
Bye! Bye, 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 bye. Bye!
It was beautiful.
Ah.